Now, I wanted to talk about this video specifically because the criminal in this case used the hatchet. But before I get into that, I just want to remind you guys really quickly that right now, today is the last day of our 20% holiday sale that we did for Black Friday and extended it through the weekend. So right now on shop.mrcolion Noir, when you use the code NEEDMONEYGUN, you can get 20% off of hats, off of our mugs, off of our drinkware, off of our t-shirts, off of this beautiful premium embroidered hoodie that says "Need more gun for pew pew." We have one that says "Need money for guns," and we have the same classic designs and even newer designs in the same premium embroidered hoodie as well. And on top of that, we have our over-the-ear hearing protection, which is also on sale.
A developing story from Pasco County tonight. A community on high alert this evening after deputies say a homeowner shot and killed an intruder this morning. Fox 13's Gloria Gomez reports from Newport Richey.
Pasco detectives continue to investigate the shooting. They're not releasing very many details in this case. What we do know, though, is that it happened around 10 o'clock this morning at the Trinity Palms at Seven Springs in Newport Richey. They say someone broke into an apartment and the homeowner shot and killed that burglar. We don't know if the person shot and the homeowner knew each other. We also don't know if there was anyone else in the apartment at the time of the shooting. Investigators are telling us, though, that the burglar had a hatchet at the time of the shooting, but they're not releasing his name and they're not releasing the homeowner's name. At this point, no one has been charged with a crime.
About the hatchet, I can see some pacifists in the world right now looking at the story and screaming at the sky like, why did they have to shoot him? He only had a hatchet. It's not like he had a gun. Well, no, he didn't have a gun, but that tells me that you don't understand how brutal and deadly knife attacks can be. You see, I came up in an era where when I started getting into firearms, one of the first things that I learned was how effective a person with a knife can be against somebody with a gun. And I know the popular saying, never bring a knife to a gunfight, which in a lot of ways holds true, but never underestimate the ability of somebody with a knife in their hands who's within 21 feet, because I've learned that somebody who's within 21 feet with a knife can close the distance before you can even get to your gun. So I treat a knife in the hand of a criminal the same as I treat a gun in the hand of a criminal. Now, here's the thing. I can also see people saying, oh, well, if we just didn't have guns at all in this world, we wouldn't have to worry about these type of things. Actually, to the contrary. You see, all you got to do is go over there to the UK and see how their banning of the firearms has done for them, considering they're now trying to ban knives because they have a knife violence epidemic going on in the UK. But here in America, the beautiful thing is we have the ability to own firearms to protect ourselves and equalize ourselves to criminals who would otherwise have the advantage. I would much rather be in a situation where I had a gun and a criminal had a gun and I had to deal with that versus me not having a gun and that criminal have a knife. Because at that point, they can just use disparity of force. They can have 2, 3, 4 of them come and kick in my house with hatchets, and I have nothing to fight back with. And if there's another thing that I've learned about knives, yeah, sure, I could have a knife of my own, but one thing I learned about knife fighting, and one thing they always tell you, if you get into a knife fight, expect to be cut or even stabbed, because that's just how knife fighting works. I'd rather not be stabbed or cut or injured at all. And that's the beautiful thing about guns, because they give you the ability to keep your criminals far away while you defend yourself. So that's why I love firearms, because what it does is it gives power to the weak. It equalizes the people who would otherwise be disadvantaged. That is the whole point of the Second Amendment, is to give the power to the people to defend themselves against otherwise entities or people who would have an advantage over them physically. So for me personally, when I see this story, it looks all the same to me. Whether he had a hatchet, whether he had a knife, it doesn't matter. It's the same level of threat. But unfortunately, we have people and politicians in this world who, instead of actually empowering you to be able to protect yourself and make it as easy as possible for you to protect yourself, their goal is to keep you in as much control as possible. And if that so happens to make you safe, great, even though they'll sell you on the idea that it's to keep you safe, when in reality, it's about control, because they could care less about you having the ability to protect yourself, because for them, it's about power. And the more that we continue to realize that, the better we can start voting and making decisions on our politicians and our policies so that we can end up empowering ourselves. Stop looking to other people to protect you. Stop looking to other people to defend you. The goal of politics is for you to vote people in who will allow you to empower yourself to be independent and be able to protect yourself. That is how you should be looking at politicians and the policies they enact. If they pass a law or gun control law, does that law actually allow me to empower myself to better protect myself? Or does that give them more control and they're trying to sell me the idea that it'll keep me safe? And bravo to the person in this particular story for being able to protect themselves. But unfortunately, like I always say at these defensive gun use videos, he may not be completely out of the woods because as you can see, as you've seen in the news many a times, you could still get sued. You can get sued in civil court. You can have a rogue DA who's like, I'm anti-gun. I want to make an example out of this person, and then have you in court fighting for your life. So that's why I implore people to get things like a membership in USCCA, which sponsors this channel, because a membership in USCCA gives you access to self-defense insurance that where if this were to happen, you now don't have to go through the up and down roller coaster trying to figure out what lawyer do I call? How do I get money to pay for this lawyer? How do I get money to pay for these legal services and this cleanup and so forth and so on? It's all covered. So if you would like to learn more about what a USCCA membership entails, I'm going to leave a link in the description section of this video. And don't forget, today's the last day to take advantage of the 20% off sale at shop.mrcolionnoir.com, where you can get these awesome hoodies that I'm wearing right now. Just make sure you use the code NEEDMONEYGUN. Oh, and don't forget, be sure to like, share, and subscribe to the channel and hit the bell symbol so that you get notified anytime I release these videos.